Gaffer, an emphatic victory on Saturday, late draw on Wednesday, two very different ways to win football matches.
Yeah, well, we thought it would, the way it was tonight, we thought it would pan out the way it was, and sometimes you've got to win ugly, and you've got to do whatever it takes. The crowd were getting frustrated with us tonight because we didn't play. But we didn't set out not to play. We've played some terrific football this season. Tonight, you've got to give Rochdale credit for the way they pressed us, and they made it a scrappy, ugly type of game, and they came with a game plan, which often happens when you come to a team which has just won so emphatically on the Saturday. And we didn't quite have that quality to get that first pass away like we did at the weekend. But when it's not quite going for you on the ball, you've got to make sure you win. And that's what we did tonight, and that 3 points tonight is, for me, one of the biggest of the season, and I'm so proud of the lads.
A traditional derby clash as well.
Yeah, I mean, I said to the boys, I've seen Rochdale so many times. I've seen them turn teams over by just the diagonals going up front and runners off the diagonals and people switching off and not doing their jobs, and you've just got to deal with it. And sometimes the game opens up after 60, 70 minutes, but it didn't tonight, and we weren't able to get a foothold in the game on getting on the ball like we've done in the past. But the lads have stuck at it tonight, and I'm so pleased with them because that was a really hard game, and we knew it would be.
Even more so after the away game at their place earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, we had the score to settle, didn't we? And we spoke to the lads before that game. We had a lot more chances in that game, in fairness, but we didn't get the win. Tonight we've dealt with everything they threw at us in terms of the high energy, high tempo type of play, and we've managed to get the win. And I know at times that the supporters were frustrated with the game, but. I put a quote up on the board a couple of months ago from Gary Neville, and he said about Chelsea that Chelsea will be champions because they can win every type of game. They can win a football game, they can win a scrappy game, they can win a game which is set pieces, they can win on Tuesday night when the weather's bad. And that's the kind of mentality you've got to have if you're going to finish at the top, and we're starting to show that.
And credit to the lads, they've come through a sticky patch with back-to-back wins now.
Without doubt, three games unbeaten. It's a fantastic effort. When with the shake-up over the transfer deadline, lads have come in, like I've said. The last time we changed things around the deadline, we brought players in who were undercooked physically. We lost our way a bit. This time the lads who've come in have given us a lift, and they're almost getting fit in the games. Alfie Lafon, Philip Marais and players like that, plus the lads like Trots and Dino, who are coming in and haven't played for a long time, are getting the match fitness in high-octane games like tonight.
I think with Philippe, there's almost a surprise at how well he settled in and how he's completing all these 90 minutes.
Well, I mean, we had a problem on the touchline after losing Andy Taylor. We were like, we knew that Trots would tire. We was worried about Phil. Obviously, Alfie, we're trying to nurse through it as well. Gary had a tight calf, so it was like, who do we take off? But I've got to say, I thought Gary Medine really rose to the challenge in that second half and led the line really well for us. It was a difficult night. It was really, really difficult night, and there's so much at stake, and you could see they came here, and a lot of their lads were here about 4 o'clock walking around the ground, I think, relishing the prospect of playing on our stadium, and they made it really difficult for us. And I've got to give Rochdale credit because I thought they really set up with a game plan and made it so hard and pressed us all over the pitch. And it's not about changing shape for us tonight and doing something different. It's just about, could we have got that first pass off with a little bit more quality? We couldn't quite do that. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes as individuals, you don't play that well, but we've got to make sure you do all the basics in your game well, so you've come off and say, well, I've made a good contribution and I've been part of a winning performance.
Another pleasing element, of course, is how well they've adapted to that 3-5-2 formation.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, Wheats and Beeves have done really well. They're outstanding tonight, let's be fair. Games are won or lost in both penalty boxes, and those three tonight stood up to everything. And Beeves, was right back to his best the last couple of games. Wheat is fantastic in that central position, and Derek's a player we kind of feel we need to get in the team because he's such a good player, and not only that, he's got personality, and pleased to get him out on the pitch.
You mentioned Beeves' confusion in the press box there, but we think he's got the final touch and it's his goal.
Yeah, personally, hopefully, it's one of ours and not an own goal. But the most important thing is when we wake up tomorrow morning, it's Bolton 1, Rochdale 0, and it's another 3 points on the board.
And just what you want going into those two tough away games coming up at Bradford and Sheffield United.
Yeah, without doubt. It's important that we go into there full of confidence. And I just feel that the spirit of the lads got us through tonight. And I said it since we went on the pre-season trip, that this group of lads are really pulling. I could sense they were pulling together then, and I've seen it all season. And tonight I thought epitomised what they're all about as a group.
Thank you.